Hey, quick context of this video. This is a raw clip from one of our capital unlock calls. We do 2 to 3 calls a week with our warriors. We talk about their deals. We go over actual real capital raising strategy. This is a real student. This is a real warrior. We call people in real time, breaking down he actually just raised $2.2 million and he raised it in 1 week. This is not, I almost raised some money, I got close, I got a term sheet. No, that's not what this is. This is money in the bank. Wired. And in December 31st alone, he raised $1.4 million. $1.4 million came in just on December 31st alone. And the reason this video matters is because he explains the part that nobody actually teaches except us. How he created urgency without sounding desperate. How he actually protected the investor's capital in the pitch so the investor felt comfortable, and how he used cold leads. Yes, cold leads to get the most money possible. Watch this with a notebook, take notes, dissect it, and then copy the framework into your deal. Let's get to Chet. Chet had some really cool stuff happen to him recently, right before the new year. And what happened was, he's been working really close with Alex and the team, and they're working on his deal and bringing in a lot of investor leads, a lot of accredited investor leads for months. And I'm gonna let Chet kind of talk more about this, as long as you're okay with the Chet.
Mm-hmm.
We switched up his offer quite a bit on urgency. We talk about urgency all the time, right? Urgency creates capital. It creates the people actually saying yes and then actually sending it. Urgency is everything, and it's hard to create urgency sometimes, and a lot of times. And we found a really good way for Chet to create that urgency, and did that through what's called a 1031 exchange, which a lot of you guys probably know. So Chet took that and ran with it, adjusted his campaign a lot, and the results kind of spoke for themselves. So Chet, I'll let you, if you don't mind giving 5-10 minutes, take as much time as you need, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think, let them know how much money came in. I think it'd be inspiring for everybody just in the last few days. And yeah, you have the floor.
All right.
I'll interrupt you where I need to, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do. And I wish this could be somewhat interactive. In fact, I think I'll force some interaction by using the Socratic method and asking some questions, see if people really learned the things that you're teaching us, Nick. So yeah, 4 things I want to say, and I'm going to keep coming back to them. One is, well, in fact, I'll ask you, what is the number one thing? Can someone tell me what is the number one thing on an investor's mind?
Their return?
When they're going to get their money back.
That's right. That's right. Am I gonna get my money back?
Yeah.
Which basically implies trust. But as Nick has said, and it's worth going through all of his teachings more than once, but he keeps coming back to that. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Am I gonna get my money back? What's your exit plan? Is my capital safe with you? That's number one we're gonna report on. And then number 2 is, of course, they want an exciting, compelling offer, but only in the light. I mean, that doesn't mean squat to a smart investor. If they're not convinced, they will also have their capital protected. And then the third is probably the most important of all, is mindset. And for me, that has been a very important evolution. And I think, just collaborating with all of you and taking it in from Nick and Alex, my mindset has changed and I have become, I think, a lot more effective as a result. And then 4th is leads. None of this matters for anything if you don't have someone to talk to. And we've learned that it's better to reach out beyond friends and family. And boy, have I learned that. I mean, I have a lot of friends and family, and indeed some of those have invested with me. And for that, I am grateful. I'm also very sobered by that. And it just feels better to have folks who are looking, they're actually looking for what we are offering. They're looking for a trustworthy investment where they know their capital is safe. They're looking for a good return on investment. And they're looking for someone who they can believe in and know, like, and trust. None of that means anything if we don't have good leads beyond friends and family. So first, well, no, I'll take Nick's invitation and let you know that we raised $2.2 million last week. And it did all come in, it all came in last week, because we created urgency. And the urgency was around the depreciation play where, there's so many people. And I learned, well, I'll ask you all, what percentage of all the money that goes to the US Treasury comes through W-2 income? I'll give you multiple choice, and then I want someone to tell me. Is it 40%, 63%, 78%, or 85%?
I'll say 75. And
It's
I could be wrong.
actually 85%. Blew my mind that 85, most of the people paying for our government are making between, 60,000 and $2 million a year. And there are a lot of people, these would be dentists, medical profession, airline pilots, folks working in the Silicon Valley, professional athletes. There are so many people that are flirting with $1 million in the port. They're making it through W-2. I thought most of the money is made through small business owners or corporate, whatever, but there are very many people who make a lot of money and they do want some tax shelters. And now the big, beautiful bill makes it easier for them to find depreciation. And we have a path whereby they can do that with Clearview Asset Protection. But I want to keep coming back to these four things. One, are you going to protect my capital? So I would often, when I was on the phone with someone, I would say, hey, we're going to cover two things here. I want to talk with you about the investment itself and how it can benefit you and the return that you can enjoy. But also I also want to talk with you about who we are and what we do, and that it's tangible and reliable, because they don't just want a good return. They obviously need to trust the company. And this is where Nick if you watch all of his videos, the teaching there, he says things like, and I don't want to overwhelm anyone with this, but it just is so absolutely essential if you're going to raise millions. You got to have a good data room. You got to know your financials. You've got to have a good pitch deck. And for us, it helps that we now have a newsletter that we make for our investors and even prospects. It's Byler Investment Group. It's just a 4-pager. This has served us extremely well, showing some customers, showing some charts and graphs, and then the 3 ways to invest, and then the other companies that are within, my purview. An investor really you got to connect emotionally and relationally, of course. And this is all, I'm reiterating things that Nick has said, but hearing them from him and then actually putting myself in that position really did help the conversations to get better and better all the time. And I'm glad to report that, we were able to build rapport. Candor works. I didn't have to have, like, when I told them that I bought this company back in February, that didn't turn anyone off. It just piqued their curiosity. Like, why did you buy it? What did you see in it? And then I was able to tell them about other businesses that I had bought and what I did with them, especially the chicken coop business. And then I don't know if some of you know that I was on Shark Tank with a backyard chicken coop business. And early on, Nick, I was not leading with that like at all. I was kind of concealing that I'd been on Shark Tank because I thought they might think it's flaky or whatever. Well, by the end, it was so essential that I would say I learned that built credibility in a big way. And I can't wait to see Kevin O'Leary next week, because you'll understand why I want to see him again. I met him on Shark Tank. Great guy. I really do like him.
He's awesome. I love him.
But in the end, he told me to get lost because I pissed him off. And so anyway, and so when I told people I had been on Shark Tank and that I just bought the business last year, and that last year the business didn't make any money to speak of, and it was only 2.9 million, and where we're going and why we need more of these security towers because it's drone detection and deterrence. And then I would get somewhat animated about the fact that there are 1,300 open air stadiums and there are all these drones flying around, and most stadiums, most security personnel who are in charge of security, these open air stadiums, are not even tracking the drones overhead. and like, what's our available market? And we just need more towers. And this is why it makes sense for us. I would even let them know that with their investment, here's how we're going to make money, a good return on your investment. And so the nuts and bolts of how they're going to make money matters, but only in the context of, is this a real business? And then also, we had the good fortune early on. I had a guy on the phone that Alex brought me, and I'll get to that in a minute about Alex and the magical touch that he did to bring us
I'm going to
330
ask you some
leads.
questions here in a minute, all about it all, Chet, to make
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I'll close with just this quick reference. We had this group of doctors and dentists in North Carolina, and they have one person representing them, Chad Snell. He has to do his due diligence. So he came up here and he spent a full day with us, kicking the tires on these towers and all that. And then we ended the day with a delightful dinner. And he went back and they invested $1 million. And not only that, they said they want the right of first refusal to our first 20 towers that we make available this year, which would be an additional 2 million. So I was able to then use that to create additional credibility with everyone else saying, hey, someone came here physically, did their due diligence. So it made raising the other 1.2 million a little bit easier. So again, four things: protect my capital, give me a compelling offer, and then all of us need to have the mindset. And I think the daily affirmations are very important. And yes, Nick, I did borrow yours, and every day for the past month, I've gotten up in the morning and I say, I am a money magnet. Money and energy flow to me effortlessly from multiple sources. So I kept telling myself that, Nick, even when it was unbelievable and I was getting discouraged. And thankfully, it worked. And it worked because of what Alex did. I had Alex help us with digital marketing nationwide, and he brought us leads from all across the country. And I can't say enough praise for Alex and the way he refined the campaign with Nick's input, such that, at the beginning, half the leads were annoyingly worthless. At the end, 90% were very worthy of my time. So way to go on that, Alex. And thank you, Nick, for your guidance.
You got it, man. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about, I wanna ask you a couple questions that I'm curious about. Although I know some of the answers, but I just want to hear from you. And I think it's good for everyone here because raising 2.5 or $2.2 million in, last month of the year is no small feat. And it's just awesome. So I want to ask a couple questions. One, before we started kind of working together, before you started working with us and with Alex, what was actually happening in your raise? Like, what was starting to worry you about it? What were you seeing or not seeing and having real issues with?
Well, I was able to raise about 700,000 through friends and family, and it was slow going. And indeed, when I was reviewing, and even now, it makes me tired, and I try not to be, you know, bummed out about it, how many people I pitched to. But you just have to hang in there. And so I would say what made the big difference for me is being more ready, because that first 700,000 was based purely on relational trust, and you might say, yeah, reputation in the community, not on like the data room, financials, a well explained structure for what we're doing. I mean, there was some of that, but I still need, that needs to get better every day. The better your data room is, the more confidence you will have and the more money you will raise. At least I'm feeling that.
Okay, love that. So we started a campaign for you, right? And so for some of you guys that might not know this, we started an accredited investor campaign. So um, Chet was spending money every month, not only on ad spend, but also on the actual marketing team that we have internally ourselves, and going out and actually putting in capital to bring in accredited investor leads.
Thousands of dollars.
Yes. What were you trying before that campaign and that wasn't working the way that you wanted it to or expected it to?
Yeah, I was just it was friends and family, and wherever I would go, I tried to have a mindset of, as you said, we all need to every day be thinking about two or three people that we meet along the way, and would we communicate back with them? So, without naming names or associations from which I drew, I've been holding, grabbing. I would love it when someone actually has a physical business card, would give it to me. And then the key is, the fortune is in the follow-up. So what I was doing before we turned on the nationwide digital marketing plan was working, but it was working so slowly, just such a slow burn that I'm afraid I would have burned out. So I got to tell you, Nick, I'm really glad I discovered you, but I discovered you through Alex.
Right.
And if it wouldn't be for Alex and Nick, I don't know. I'd probably be giving away 30% of the company to bring in some other professional who probably actually couldn't do it as well as I am able to do it now that we've discovered so many things.
Yeah.
And I should explain, someone asked in the comments here, what is the business? It's basically, it's Clearview Asset Protection. Clearview Asset Protection has three divisions. We have guards, physical guards, about 85, who we deploy in central Pennsylvania to schools and especially to natural gas pads where, Pennsylvania is now providing a lot of natural gas for Western Europe because of the war in Ukraine. They're not getting it from Russia so much anymore. So a lot of it is coming from Texas and Pennsylvania. And so there's an energy boom here. And then they need our guard booth, our pilot cars, and our personnel. And they need 24/7 surveillance. And so the key for this business is a rapid response security tower that costs us less than $50,000 to produce. And if any of you, for example, had an extra good year and you made over $500,000 and you'd rather pay taxes on 400,000 instead of 500,000, we make it real easy. Just buy one of our towers. We then lease it back from you for $4,000 a quarter, $16,000 a year. There's your 16% return after having saved 37,000 in federal taxes. So we do the math on that, and then there's a buyback provision and all that, and people love that. So we were targeting high income earners, especially W-2, because actually, thanks to the big beautiful bill, even W-2 income can be depreciated through this. And there were many times because people, even if they know, like, and trust you and they understand the model, they want to make sure at the last minute like that, if they're going for depreciation, that they're getting sound tax advice. So I could not have done it all without, I could not have accomplished what we did without my CPA and the tax advisor who helped me put this whole thing together. So he would hop on calls with me and help close deals, which was super helpful.
I love it. Amazing. So what is kind of the big difference? I know, look, obviously the leads is one thing, but even your pitching, the way you were talking to people, the way you were presenting, what was some of the big differences from kind of when you started to when you came here to this past month when you really started kind of finding and hitting your stride?
I have to keep coming back to mindset. And when you watch the National Football playoffs here and you watch the Hoosiers take it all, it's interesting. They actually practice less on the field than any other team who's a contender right now. They focus on mindset so much, watching film, thinking about how they will communicate out there, and they don't beat each other up in practice. That's what you helped me, Nick, more than anything. I was grinding. I was like pushing it, right? Desperate almost. And you helped me to relax and just ease into it. Don't chase the money. Listen well. Listen well. So when I would say, I mean, I got good at asking, well, gee, you had an abundant year, so much so that you're looking for depreciation. Tell me about that. How is it that you had such a bountiful year? And then shut up and listen. And some people would want to talk a lot, some not so much. But you read it. You can't read it if you don't let people talk. So you helped me listen better. You helped me believe more. And you helped me be better prepared. So thank you, Nick.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're welcome. And that thanks to Alex too. I mean,
Oh yeah, big time.
it's been awesome working with you, listening to the conversations that you've had, that Alex and you have had, and seeing this level of, you know, commitment. And that's what it takes, right? I mean, that's I
Does.
think a lot of the lesson here. It's raising capital, it takes patience. Like it is not something that happens overnight for the majority of people. Every now and then it might happen that way, but that's just not the way. That's how people think it's going to happen. And that's why everyone's here, because they understand that that's not the case, right? And so it's those moments, it's those days, it's the lull times where we start second guessing ourselves and wanting to give up and throw in the towel and say, fuck this, it's too much, I'm done. It's how do we show back up and actually do it, you know? And um it's doing a little bit of something every single day to keep it moving and keep it going. So yeah, man, it's absolutely, absolutely awesome. And
Two more things. No, three, Nick.
yeah,
One, your daily, very easy to read text message to us by email or however we get it. Beautiful. I mean, that is such solid advice. You know, the perseverance, it's very arrogant for any of us to think that we could become really good at this without doing the hard work. Just like it would be arrogant for anyone to think they could go to the Olympics without a lifestyle of grind that they learn to love. So your daily affirmations or admonishments are just fantastic. At least they resonate with me so nicely. And then also others in the group, when they post things, I think it's just a very big gift to each other. The second thing I want to mention is that um, Woody Allen says, and others have said it, that 75% of success is showing up. Show up. So show up every day. And so thank you for that. And then I want to reemphasize that none of this means anything unless you have good leads. And I would urge everyone to talk to Alex about that. He is a magician. No, he knows the science of digital marketing and he loves marketing. He's damn good at it. And he helped me get the leads we need beyond my friends and family. And that's where now 65% of my money has come in from the leads that Alex brought me. I raised a total of 3 million, 2.2 million all last week, Nick. And believe it or not, 1.4 million of that came in on the 31st. So you talk about needing urgency. Yeah. Oh, one last thing, then I'm done. Do not forget that an investor is, mwah, and Nick has a very good session on how, 3 sessions, on how to treat investors. So we are loving on them so much right now. And there's gold in them thar hills. I mean, every one of our investors now have friends and families, associates. So this 2.2 million that I raised from Alex's leads, I think we're going to 10x it. It will yield 22 million if I work if I treat
oh yeah.
my current investors well.
So that is so key what you just said. Um, and all of you that have raised money before know this. Majority of people that are going to give you capital, if it's the first time, they're not going to give you what they can give you. They're going to give you a piece of it, of what they're
Right.
comfortable with. And that comfortability might be 50 grand, 100 grand, 500, a million, depending on their net worth. So a lot of you know that have done this. After a few months of trust building, after you return any kind of capital to them, and I mean just their first payment or two, it's funny how their checkbook starts to open up. So yes, you raised what you raised right now, but I am in agreement with you that if you treat them properly, which I know you will, and you communicate with them properly on a quarterly or monthly basis, and they know where their money is, and they know what's going on with the company, and you send your newsletter and you do all the right things, they will be investing more money with you. It's going to happen. And not only for a 1031, but just in general, because the people that invested that money, they have more. That's why they took that offer. So,
And Nick, you mentioned urgency, and sure, the 1031, the need for depreciation and all, created the urgency that we were lacking. Well, now we found a new way to create urgency, and that's through scarcity. We are doing some convertible notes, and we're going right back to the folks who invested and saying, hey, if you want a piece of this for the longer haul, here's how our convertible note works. And we have only 10 of them.
what's the response to that so far?
Yeah, I know there are three where they want in, and I 10 of them, 100,000 each, which gets them 1 point forever for wherever this thing goes. Plus the floor is a 15% compounded monthly for 3 years. So we already had folks who invested who said they want convertible notes, but I conveniently said, "Oh, that's not available. Those are sold out. So give me your 100,000 for depreciation."
Love it. Dude, I'm super proud of you. It's been a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
I've watched you put it in, and it's just the beginning. So it's, it's not like this is a glorified call other than saying I'm excited for you and proud of you and thankful for you as well. If you guys have questions for myself, for Alex, or for Chet, and hopefully more for Chet, just let's get going. Raise your hand so then unmute you. We can kind of keep it orderly. That'd be phenomenal.
I just wanted to ask if you could define a convertible note and how that
yeah.
works.
Okay, so we have a $100,000 convertible note. What that simply means is if you give me $100,000, it's a 3-year note. You will get at least a 15% return. So we give you 15% return, and it's compounded monthly, which means that at the end of the 3-year period, because it's compounding monthly, you will have picked up $57,000 in interest. At the end of the 3 years, Deborah, you can have a check for $157,000, or you can have 1% of the company. And I don't know which is going to be the best option for you 36 months out, but we will open our books, and you will want to convert only if two things happen. One, you don't need the $157,000. And two, you believe we're very close to being worth $20 million, because 1% of $20 million valuation is $200,000. So now you would have doubled your money on paper, which would make you want to convert, or you walk away with $157,000. What's not to like about that? Right, Deborah?
Is the 57,000 charged interest penalty? How does it get paid out?
That we write you a check for $57,000 and give you your capital back, 100,000, and it's all at the end. So you do not have any taxable income until the end, and then the 57,000 would be treated as ordinary income.
So Chet, I'm just gonna say this, and I hope Tiki doesn't mind, but she's asking that question because you might have found another investor possibly. So
That's cool.
Yes.
Well, I will tell you that often by the time I was explaining what's going on with our business, for those who wanted depreciation, they wanted the convertible note as well. And then of course, I didn't want to distract them. So I said, no, we might do some kind of an equity, something or another next year. And well, now it's next year. So we'll be selling those very quickly in the next 90 days. That's the goal.
That'd be great, bro. The power of depreciation. I want to know how many people went out and bought new cars. I know I did. Over 6,000 pounds. The power of depreciation, baby. It's the 100% depreciation that Trump put back in is massive for business owners and people. So it's awesome that you took advantage of that. It's phenomenal.
Well, and you encouraged me to really hammer that, and we did. We didn't hammer it hard enough soon enough, but it worked. And then Alex brought us all the leads where literally, I guess 7 out of 8 specifically said, I want depreciation. So great talking to those people.
Yeah.
But also to your point, please, Nick, I had 3 guys who could have thrown down $500,000, and they each did only 100,000. And they literally said to me, I want to test you. I want to see how you treat my 100,000. And if I like it, I'll do more next year and I'll tell my friends. Okay, that's cool. I think that's a very wise way to start out with me.
Yeah.
And then they did it. Now, there were also some who I mean, oh, the stories I could tell you.
What's gonna be funny for you is how quickly they throw more money at you.
Ah,
This is what's gonna be interesting for you. Those kind of guys are and gals, those are the ones. Those are the ones that have all this more, they're just testing you. And as soon as you pass their test, sometimes the test is, are they going to return any capital? But those type of individuals, in my experience, are how is this guy going to treat me over the next 1, 2, 3 months? When am I going to feel comfortable with this guy? Is it going to be immediately? Is it going to be within 2 months? Whatever. And he's going to go, hey, I have another 500 grand. I have another million. I have whatever it is. I have 4 friends that want to hear about this. That's where this will compound for you and for everyone here. That's what happens when you're raising capital, particularly from high net worth individuals. Institutions are different, obviously, but when you're raising from high net worth, this is super normal. Chris, I don't know if you're having that happen to you yet. Yours is a little different situation because it's more in the startup phase where you've raised 500,000, 600,000, maybe maybe more at this point. I don't know if you brought any more capital, but have you brought more in?
No, we're right around 500 right now, but we've been
Okay.
so focused on launching. We
Yeah, I
haven't
mean, you
raised
brought in
any.
500 in a month or 2 months or whatever it was. It was a pretty condensed period of time from or it seemed that way. I know it wasn't, but it seemed that way. Yours is a little different because again, it's more in the startup phase.
Yep.
But when they see the momentum and they see what's happening and they see any inkling of money back, whether that's a year down the road or whatnot, they're gonna want a bigger piece of the pie. They're gonna want to be in more in some facet. So yeah. That's another reason why high net worth individuals are very, very fun to raise from because if you treat them right, man, they come right back to you. I don't know if Thomas Lycos is here or not today. Is he here? I didn't see him on. No, he's not. But Thomas Lycos has been raising money for a long time for his real estate. And that happens to him all the time. Like that's one of his main. The reason he came to us is to find more people because he's like, I need strategies. I need to learn how to find more people, how to talk to different people because everyone I have is a little bit tapped out because they've tapped out because they've continued to invest with him because he's returned capital. He's a great guy. They trust him. So yeah, it's phenomenal.
so we put a plan together right away, 10 things that we decided to do. And the first one is already paying dividends. It was payments to investors. So we sent a very professional, thanks to ChatGPT, to the point, and it came from one of my team saying, "Hey, Alex, you invested, $200,000. Now we need your banking information because on March 31st, we're going to send you your first payments. And so we need your ACH." It was just a great way to touch base with them. And number two, we crystallized our database of investors, like all their information, first names, last name, mailing address, LinkedIn, all that. And then now I haven't done it yet, but today and tomorrow I'll be calling everyone who said yes. I'll be personally calling them and taking their
Yeah.
temperature and, hey, I didn't get asked you enough about and I'm going to really try to develop deeper in the relationship. Number
Yeah.
4, we're going to, by Friday, have we do a quarterly report for Byler Investment Group, and we're going to issue that this Friday. So, very shortly after and then we're going to be able to give them the great news that we had a better year at Clearview than we had anticipated and all that. And then number 5, I just have here, mail something to them, a physical something. So that newsletter, and I'm also going to send them the Christmas card that Sharon and I had sent out, something tangible. And number 6, we're now going to upgrade our letterhead. We're going to use impressive business size number 10 envelope with a little bit of gold foil on it. Not overdone, not overdone, but something warm, and they're going to get that. I'm a big advocate of tangible. We're in a digital era, so actual physical business cards stand out like never before, and a nice letter in the mail every now and then is more treasured than it ever was. And then number 7, we wrote it in red, make them want to invest more and tell their friends. And then number 8 was just Chad Snell and his group, because he's the one who threw down $1 million. And then it was also the CRM that Alex Rodriguez has created. We are working that thing. I mean, we are using it like it's meant to be used. And number 10, marketing and sales plan, a system to Raise $5 million more before the 4th of July.
Love it. Jesse, and George, before I get to you guys and Tiki, a couple things that I want to just hit right here real fast. Okay. First off, Chet, I want you to talk quickly about, I know you had hired a firm prior to working with Alex and I in this program. Tell us quickly about that. Don't take too long, but tell us quickly about that, good, bad, and different, and what the difference was. And then I'm also, while you're doing that, for everyone here, I'm gonna put 2 links in. The first one is very inspiring and awesome because it's Chet on Shark Tank.
Oh boy.
I hope you don't mind me sharing that, Chet.
I don't.
It's online, so it is what it is.
No,
So
it's all good.
But
It's
just
all
share
good. It was
Chet on
entertaining.
Shark Tank. And then I just also got the link. You guys don't have to email Jessica. I got the link for the Aspire for you to register. So I'll send that after. But Chet, go ahead if you tell us about that.
Yeah, I think the number one theme on that answer is that you cannot fake authenticity. I don't know, fellow Wealth Circle members, but this is amazing. You know, that both Nick and Alex, they give of themselves in real time all the time, like for real. I had signed up with another outfit out of Dallas, and the guy may know what he's talking about, but his heart's not into it. He doesn't show up like this. Instead, he said, watch my YouTube videos. And if after you watch them, then give me a call. And even on the call, it's a bunch of bullshit. And so I'm sorry, you guys, we don't want to waste our times with fakers. And these guys are for real. Alex and Nick are dialed in. They're giving us their lives in a way that can make us all better. It's worth pressing into. And I don't want anyone to think that what I did is unattainable for you. Believe me, over the past 6 months, I've had my days of doubt. I had to deliberately decide every morning not to give up. And I would urge you to do that. Remember, it is about protecting your investors' capital. It's about, and I can't emphasize this enough, having a compelling offer with urgency, with a deadline, with scarcity. Find a way to make that happen. And if you can't find a way to make that happen, ask Nick, ask Alex. They're available to us. And then, of course, your mindset. And all you have to do is show up to this meeting every week and watch and rewatch everything that Nick has out there. But the big difference, Nick, is that you're in it. You're here with us. I mean, this is live and real and very substantial. Plus, you don't make it sound easy. You say do the hard work. Make sure your data room is getting better all the time. Make sure you have a compelling pitch deck. We can help you with that. And then, folks, it does take some money too. I mean, I have paid tens of thousands of dollars to get here, well over 100,000. It was a gamble, and not with these guys. I'm talking with mistakes. Like I threw down, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I'll tell you anyway. I threw down $32,000 for that wannabe out of Dallas. Now, maybe if I had actually pressed in, and I am going to look him up. I'm going to see him I'm going to have dinner with him in Dallas. I'm going to say, hey, I feel like I didn't get my money's worth. So do you need any depreciation?
There you go. Hell yeah.
Right, Alex?
Absolutely. That's the way to do it.
Well, Chet, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm super proud of you. I think we got a couple more questions, so let's get to those, and they're probably for you. So, Jesse, I think you've been waiting a little while. Jesse, if you want to unmute.
Hey, Chet. Thanks for sharing your experience. My question was the leads that Alex got you. I'm assuming they're cold leads. How many? How'd you warm them up as they're cold leads? And I guess how much did you spend on those leads to get the 2.2 million raised?
Mm-hmm. Alex, do you have any idea how much we spent on digital marketing? I get the sense it's around 20,000.
I'll look right now. I'll get you the number.
Okay. And then I do pay Alex a retainer. It's the best retainer I've ever paid anyone. So it was not chomp change. But it got better over time. It had to. And Alex knows how to make that happen. And AI and all the things that are happening in the digital marketing space, including Meta, Facebook, that's primarily where we went fishing.
So,
But yeah,
Chet, if I
that's a
could,
good question, and
if I
it's
could cut you
not
off
a
for
small
1 second.
investment. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry. No, thank you. If I can cut you off for 1 sec. So, guys, just so you guys know, this is one of our strategies when it comes to raising capital for larger clients, right? So when we take on a larger deal, depending on the type of deal, but if we take on a deal that needs a couple $100 million or whatnot, if we don't have, even if we do have the connections, if we don't have them all, marketing is part of the raise because it brings in capital. It just does if you do it the right way. And we know what we're doing, and Alex's team, we know what we're doing. So we run that through another agency that Alex and I own together. We can't take everyone because it's comprehensive. There's a lot. It's not, and Alex can touch this. It's a lot of work, not only on your part, but on ours, because it's not only getting leads, Jesse, it's the sales process. Most people don't know how to talk to these folks, warm them up. Obviously, we do use, Chet, you're using 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐽 CRM, correct?
Yeah.
So we do use our 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐽 CRM, which is a big one because it helps warm up and get things, which you guys all have access to as well. So, Jesse, to answer your question, there's a lot to it. It's not just throwing up some ads and hoping and praying and thinking it's going to work out. It's not. It's very, very strategic. Strategic from VSL, strategic from the copy, what we're saying, how we're saying it, the amount of times we have to adjust and change. Marketing is all about adjusting and changing and what's working and what's not, and changing it quickly if it's not working, and fixing the message and the offer and all of that. That's marketing, right? So it requires a person like a Chet that has patience, that understands that's not going to get frustrated if it doesn't work out for the first month or two, that understand that it's going to continue to get better. Sometimes it works out immediately because we've been doing it so long. Sometimes we hit the jackpot and it just starts slamming right away. That's not always, though, and I would be lying to you if it was, but that's marketing. So again, my point of that, Jesse, is this is a strategy that we've used for a long time in larger raises. Alex and the team and everyone that's on that side of the marketing knows what the hell they're doing. Most people don't. It's not easy to get accredited in front of accredited investors and get their interest. But Chet can even talk about this. When he first got on the phone with people on these leads, it wasn't all butterflies and rainbows. It was frustration and what the F am I doing? I'm spending all this money. What is this? Is it going to work? Yeah, I got some good guys, but I don't really know how to talk to them. But this 80% or 70% of these leads are freaking garbage. What do I do with these? Will they ever be investors? And they might not be garbage because they might be investors later on if we keep hitting them. But I just want to kind of preface that. And Alex, I don't know if you want to say anything there.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that just being transparent, it takes time, energy, effort, focus, and cash. And Chet was, willing to pay that price in order to achieve this result. It also took him learning a totally new skill and playing around with the CRM he didn't understand, and going through really bad leads in the beginning that I was sending him, because every campaign is different and we had to have good communication. And the thing about it that Chet always did was he called the leads within 5 minutes, right? And even when we were getting bad leads, Chet was on top of it. So it definitely wasn't all me. It was us together as a team, him doing his part and me playing my role. And to answer your question specifically, Jesse, we spent about 23,000 just on leads. Right around there, I would say maximum 25, but about around 23,000 for the campaigns. And so it came out to about 1% of the cost of capital. Now, if you go out and you pay a firm for equity, Nick, what do we charge people to raise equity traditionally without the marketing side? Around 5 points?
It depends on the size, between 2 to 5, yeah, depending on the size of the deal.
A $2 million raise is probably going to be a higher in terms of the points, just because it's harder to get these checks. So if you think about it that way, it really lowered Chet's actual cost of capital in the long term. Yes, he had to come up and, my time's expensive and I can't do this for everyone. But in the grand scheme of things, paying 1 point for equity checks of this size, Chet's right. I mean, we will probably 10x this. It'll probably go from 2 million this year. We'll probably raise together around 20 million this year with the campaigns, with reaching back out to the investors. Now that we've quote unquote cracked the code for his campaign, because again, it's lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, delivery, upsell, resell. Upsell, resell is what Nick just talked about. That's going back to these investors and saying, hey, we've been good stewards with your money. Let's continue to help you depreciate and not pay, big gov all this money to who knows where the money's going at that point, right? So I think we've seen some crazy stuff in the news recently. So, there's a lot we play on here, but it's a team effort. And for, you're paying 23,000 to raise 2.2 million. I mean, a lot of founders would probably do that all day long. So
Wrong. It's not 23 to 25,000 to raise 2 million. It's to raise 20 million. Because
that's right.
I honestly think that from the 330 leads that you gave me, of which 250 are worthy of my attention, that we will raise closer to 20 million because of the legs that some of these leads have. I'd be remiss if I would not emphasize with everyone, administrative excellence. You must be ready for when someone says yes. And that cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I could not have this depreciation, equipment sale, lease back if I had not baked that pie in July. And I had the best advice I could find at my law firm, Saxton and Stump, with Kathy Grenois, my M&A attorney, and then 2 CPA firms. Guys, this is not for rookies. This is not for novices. And Nick and Alex can help you with some of that, but they too are going to point you to investing in having the documents ready. If we would not have gone through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and tens of thousands of dollars in professional fees, there's no way we could have brought all that money in last week. It's hard work. It's worth investing in. Nick and Alex are not training amateurs here. We are going to a professional level. It does require some, cash and energy and showing up every day.
I love it. It's a sigh of
I love
relief.
it.
And just to be clear too, I mean, Chet spent what he spent on actual ad spend, excuse me. That's obviously not all. I mean, the team can't work for free. So is a retainer, right? I just want to be clear. And that varies depending on the type of deal and things that, what we feel is needed. So I'm saying all this because yes, this works. Yes, this is good for people, but I don't want everyone to try to reach out if they're looking to possibly do this and that they're not the right individual, or it's not the right time, I should say, right? That's everyone's right individual. It's not the right time. So anyways, let's get to Nicholas. Jesse, thanks for your question, my friend. All right, looks like
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
You have another one, or are you good? Your hand's still
No,
up.
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Yes. First, I'd like to say to Chet, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
That is amazing what you've done and very admirable. I'm glad that Nick put your videotape from Shark Tank on, because your metamorphosis, I saw that show and who you've become, and so polished, and knowing these factors of what you had to go through. There's a lot of push-ups, and I would like to know one thing. My question is, when did you decide to give up the chicken coops, and how long was the journey to the technology and the drones and the towers? I'd like to know that. But again, your metamorphosis is a testament to both Nick and Alex too, because like you said, they're genuine coaches too, as well as, so I'd like to hear how long that journey was, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Nicholas. And we all need each other. I have drawn a great deal of strength from the energy of this group, and especially the party that they threw back in November in Boca. Let's do that again. But thank you, Nicholas. So 2 things I'll tell you about the chicken coop business. We did end up opening a factory in the Czech Republic to serve Germany and Western Europe. So even though Mr. Wonderful, I kind of talked my way out of his $1 million offer, it still worked out for us to do that. And secondly, I still own the company. We have not exited. I have good people running that, along with another business where we do backyard structures. It's called amish-gazebos.com. Amish, because my heritage is actually with the Amish up here in Lancaster County. And we make beautiful gazebos, pergolas, pavilions, ship them all around the country. So when I would tell people about that background and that I started the gazebo business 37 years ago and then did the coop business that I bought in the middle of COVID and where it has gone, that further advanced the thing of, are you going to protect my capital? So you all have stories you can tell. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. If it evokes trust and they see that you're being authentic, you're going to pass that first test of, will I get my capital back? Assuming you have a good structure and the business is for real. And then, of course, they want a compelling offer if they're going to dance. But it doesn't have to be over the top. They're way more concerned about, am I going to get my capital back? And can I avoid giving Uncle Sam all this money?
And but that was a sweet deal you put together with the depreciation. That was like frosting that really, it was like the hook, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Nicholas.
Amazing. Let's see who else we got here. Sorry. George.
Hey guys. Hey Chad, congratulations again on your deal, on your raise.
Thank you, George.
And thanks again, Alex and Nick, for sharing some of the results from all the hard work you guys put in together. Really appreciate that. The question I have for you, Chad, is on the investments that on the investors that are coming in and investing with you, what are you securing these investments? Because I'm a real estate background. So usually we secure the investment against properties. So what are you doing on your case?
Well, when you buy the tower, it costs us $50,000 to make it. When we sell them for close to $100,000, but we try not to sell them except to investors because we lease them with all kinds of technology on them, and then they generate the monthly revenue, recurring revenue nonetheless. And so it's basically, when we got that question, hey, how are you securing this? I came this close to giving a personal guarantee a few times, and my CPA said, hey, this looks so good that don't be afraid to do that. But I didn't have to because I felt it would make me look too desperate. So your $100,000 is backed by the asset itself, the tower. Oh, but what if the tower gets hurt and you guys go under? Well, there's risks. This whole lease that we're doing would not hold up by the IRS if there would be no risk. And then we explain all that. And so do you want the depreciation or not? You want to give it to Uncle Sam or you want to take a chance with me? Here's why we're worthy of your trust. But yeah, it's not like real estate. Nope, not that, if you will, easy.
No problem. No, thank you.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Congrats, Chet.
Thank you.
I think you answered a lot of my questions already, to be completely honest with you, but where I'm struggling, I don't know if this is the right venue or anything, but I'd like to get some input from the group here, is, I run a couple operating businesses right now. One of them being that I'm looking to raise capital for it was a startup back in 2021. You mentioned, Chet, that in this particular business, it hadn't been profitable until recently. You've been investing a lot of money into it, raise some capital. I guess my question for the group, and I think Nick may have answered it, because what I'm looking at is timing, right? There's a lot of different things going on within my business, and I'm trying to get the administrative side locked down. We have SOPs, we have processes, we have procedures, but we can do better. And I guess I'm struggling with, when do I really go out to raise the capital, knowing that this particular business, since 2021, since I started it up, we really haven't been profitable. Last year was probably the best year, but I had some government contracts that kind of stagnated a bit. Is it the right time to raise capital when really I've been investing in this business the last, 4 years? And, we haven't been profitable in that sense just yet.
So
I guess the timing.
Yeah, don't be afraid to leverage exactly those facts because, people wanted to know why I was willing to pay 16% for this money. Why don't you get an SBA loan? Why don't you go to your local bank? And then I would let them know, hey, I just bought the business back in February. We don't have a long enough track record to go for conventional funding like that. And I don't really want SBA to have me by the throat right now. And we need more towers. We need more towers. It's very capital intensive. So that's why I'm paying for growth funding. And they, if they are a sophisticated investor, know that growth capital costs, anywhere from 12 to 20%. It's not venture. It's certainly not conventional. It pays a higher yield. And Uncle Sam subsidizes. So for me, the depreciation was a massive component. In your case, we could go on now, but I'd be glad to talk with you, especially if you're going to be there next week in Fort Lauderdale. And I would just pretend I have 100,000 burning in my pocket, and we'd come up with like, here are 3 reasons why Chad is worthy of the trust, and here's what's in it for you, Chet, and your 100,000. Now let's dance. And here's why. Trust is like, this is why I'm asking you for money and not going to my local bank. We're not profitable yet, but we're Amazon waiting to happen. So give me your money and get rich. Not quite, but you know what I mean. You can leverage that for justifying the ask.
Yeah, I'd love to do that offline. I appreciate your input. Unfortunately, I'm on a trade show in Austin next week. I just looked at that, so I won't be there. But if I could hook up with you offline, that'd be great.
Sure, I'd like that. Chad, my favorite, Chat GPT, Chet. There, aren't we?
Thanks, Chad. Nick Berner, let's get to you real fast.
Hey, good morning. Thanks, Nick. Chet, congratulations. As others have told you, sounds like a great business. And when I think of Mr. Wonderful and getting rejected, he always says, "You're dead to me." So I'm assuming he said you're dead to him.
Yeah.
So no, I actually was really curious in terms of, you just bought the business literally less than a year ago, and you're obviously, fantastic in terms of how you raised with Alex and Nick. But how have the valuation conversations gone? Because I just imagine myself listening to these guys, and you just raised literally last week, $2 million. What sort of stages have you talked about in terms of dilution, cram down, all that kind of thing in terms of their value? So if I put in the 1.4, 2.2, how does that conversation go? Do they say, "Hey, I want this," or do you say, "Hey, look, we're offering this, and this is all we can do"?
Yeah, the latter. We're offering this. This is all we can do. And it was everything they like. They were primarily looking for depreciation. So they knew if they're going to throw down $100,000, Uncle Sam is going to reward them by allowing them to keep $37,000 that they would otherwise have paid in taxes. And then all they're looking for is my investment relatively secure? And do I get a good return? And we're paying them $4,000 a quarter to lease back the tower. So that's $16,000 a year. And they like that too. So it's tax smart. They decided to trust us, and the yield is attractive. Oh, and there's also, I won't complicate things here, but Nick, and you should know, there's also a clean exit. And the exit is actually, we buy the tower back, but for only $70,000. So they end up giving back 37 that they saved in taxes. They end up losing 30 of that, but they kept 7. And they made 80,000 during the journey. So now I could tell them, hey, divide 87 by 5, and what do you get? 17.4. So you're actually making 17.4 annual return on your investment. And then the smart ones, only 2 that just, oh, but you're only paying 10% then, because you're only out of pocket $50,000 in 5 years. Divide that by 10, and yeah, we all win thanks to Uncle Sam.
Yep.
So each one of these, Chet, is organized as a convertible note, as you said, up front.
No,
So it's really
the convertible note we were not doing. This was strictly, you're buying a tower from me for $100,000 and I'm leasing it back, thanks to the big, beautiful bill.
Okay, so it's a depreciation play. So there's really no equity. So you're not giving equity.
No equity. That's the beauty of it all. No equity. No equity. I love it.
Is there a chance? Is there an offer of potential equity? Because you mentioned that
Yes.
they can.
That's the convertible note that we're pushing now. And there we'll create. See, Nick and Alex, if you want to create urgency, talk to them. They'll find a way to get you urgency. Now the urgency is, hey, we have 10 convertible notes. I'm only putting 10 of my 85 points on the table. Do you want one of them, or is your neighbor going to get it?
Yeah, that to me is a better offer than giving away 25% of the company any day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so if there's
sure.
something like that, so I guess I'll talk to Nick and Alex about what we have potentially, because we're a services business. We don't have a product. We can't lease something. So if there's some other urgency we can create, I'll pick their brain.
Love it.
Nick, we're a services business too, so I'd like to hook up with you as well. Just kind of throw some ideas around.
Okay. Sounds good. Tawana, how are you?
I am great. Hello to everybody and
Hi,
happy New
Tawana.
Year. Thank you. Congratulations to you, Chet.
Thank you, doctor.
Congratulations. Thank you. Nick, this question is actually for you.
Okay.
And if I need to wait, I can wait, but it's
Yeah.
pertaining to the investor in Dubai.
You're the one that you were talking to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Should I wait or go ahead and go?
Is it super personal or no?
Well,
If
it's
it is, just
pertaining.
wait or send me a quick email or text and do it that way.
Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Of course.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Tim, how are you?
Congratulations, Chet,
Thank
on
you.
your success. Pretty
Thank you.
inspiring to listen to. It's one of the things I enjoy about this group is the inspiration you get out of it. But something you said, Chet, and I don't know necessarily if you want to chime in this or Nick or whatever, but it was something you said earlier about kind of when your discussions with investors and that type of thing about, listening to what they say, but shutting up to listen, which was really interesting to me because I have a call later today with a potential investor, and I was using Nick's the Capital Unlocked ChatGPT to kind of throw out some ideas and kind of prepare for that meeting. And one of the things that it kept suggesting was exactly the same thing that you said. It kind of came up with a script, and then in the script it would say, "Shut up," telling me to shut up and listen. And so I thought, just so I don't know if you interested to know that or not, but it's kind of parroting, exactly what he suggests in that, which is good to reinforce that. So, because I kept thinking, is this thing really know what it's talking about or not? But it kind of reinforces that it does. But
Hey,
one of
Tim,
the
if
things I
you're
was
reading the
wondering about,
script, just make sure you don't read the word "shut up" to the investor.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like Biden.
Yeah.
So Tim, how the person you're speaking with this afternoon, how did they find you?
I did it through LinkedIn.
Okay, so this is going to require a lot of discipline on your part. But if you can say to, hey, Mr. Smith, I noticed that you found me on LinkedIn. What was it about what you saw on LinkedIn that made you want to have this conversation with me? See how hard that is to be quiet? Because you want to say,
Oh, yeah.
did you like the way I look? Did you like
Right.
you feed them answers. I found
Right.
that when I would talk to somebody, and Alex helped us put together this really brilliant, and people watched it, a 4-minute video. So I would ask them, I noticed you watched that video online on Facebook. What was it about what we are doing that appeals to you? And then to have the discipline, and believe me, most of the time I didn't, to not feed them an answer and just be quiet,
Right.
very hard for a guy like me.
Well, and that's what I was wondering is kind of what's your mindset there on, kind of balancing the idea of you wanting to move the conversation forward in a structured way, but then intentionally shutting up long enough to listen to the responses. Kind of what's that mindset there that
Put yourself in their head and shoes. Like, just pretend you're them. Wouldn't you feel respected if someone asked you that and then would be quiet enough to hear your reply and not think you're stupid enough to need to be fed the answer? I'm being very blunt, but
yeah. Right. I think you answered my other question. You said something about, because I was going to ask what was the single best question to ask that kind of forces you to stop talking. But what you said about, what was it about what you saw on, for whatever reason, why you connected with me on LinkedIn? What was it about that wanted you to reach out? Because the message that he sent to me originally when I had kind of initially contacted him was, yes, I'm interested. So he didn't really give a lot of
that's
background
great.
as to why. So maybe that's a good lead for that.
Yeah, you ask him, why are you interested? And then be courageous enough to be quiet.
Right. Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
We always talk about the person who speaks the less wins, right? That's sales 101. So same thing with raising. See, that's the biggest problem we have when raising capital, and we talk about this a lot, is we are so close to our deal. We are so emotionally tied to our deal. All of us, not just you guys, me and everyone. We're emotionally attached to our deal. It's everything. We want to talk about it. We want to show how great it is. We want to talk about ourselves and what all of it. That's what we want to do. But that's actually one of the exact things that is going to repel capital completely. Capital takes that, and when I say capital, investors, just capital in general, will take that and sniff it out as neediness. And neediness is the #1 killer of money, of capital. Think about your lives. All of our lives as entrepreneurs go like this, right? It's up and down, years at a time, up and down. Think about the times, the seasons we've all had, including myself and many other people, where we've been in a lull. And with I'm talking financially, so to speak, right? And what is the one thing that we crave is money. And so we need money. And for whatever reason, the money just doesn't seem to come no matter what we do, no matter how hard we work, no matter how hard we grind, no matter when we wake up in the morning and how many sleepless nights we have, the money just doesn't want to show because we have this neediness. Money doesn't like neediness. It's such a hard concept to understand. I'm still learning it myself. Like it's a fuckery, you know. But it's the reality of life, and also raising money is that neediness. Capital hates neediness, and so when you're speaking, Tim, and anyone else, learning to be very reserved and not overtalk and listen is so hard, but that shows that you're not needy, which gives us a lot better shot to bring in some money, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point, Nick. And to tell you the truth, that kind of reinforces the idea of why it's actually maybe better to have these discussions with potential investors when you don't actually have a deal, because the tendency to try to sound more needy is probably a little more, it's not as there as much if you don't have something pending right there on.
If you think about Chet's deal, what it flipped to, right? It was all about the investor. It was no longer about Chet's company and that he needs money to grow. That was not the message anymore. The message was, you need to protect your money, or do you want to give it to Uncle Sam? Or here's a great investment for you that you can do a 1031 exchange on. There's no neediness there.
People are so selfish when it comes to their money. Damn it. Not me, though.
Yeah.
You know? So if you just put yourself in the guy who has a little bit of money in his pocket, in their shoes, and listen, it's so powerful. I'm still learning it. I'm still
me
learning.
too, Chet, me too. I don't think it's something we stop learning. I think as human beings, our natural tendency is to fall into that. That's just who we are. It's how we're bred. I don't think it's something we ever learn. I think it's something you have to always check personally.
Thanks. Yeah.
At least where I am in my life. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Victor.
Happy New Year, everybody. And Chet, awesome job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alex, you freaking rock, dude. You rock star. You rock star, Alex, you, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Chet,
he is.
I wanted to ask you, did you go down the tax equity for thinking of how to finance the towers originally in your process of how do I fund this thing? Did you go down that road also like they do with solar? You know, large banks need to defer their tax obligation, so they invest in solar. Is there a similar play for your towers in that area also?
Not now. I would tell people often, hey, ours is a pretty simple deal, and I kind of like keeping it that way. Now the group out of North Carolina, they're trying to complicate things like I can't believe, but hey, they gave me $1 million. They can complicate it all they want.
Congrats.
But yeah, so I'm not right now. We're trying to keep it relatively simple, and inadvertently, I'm protecting equity beyond what I even desired to do, which now has us being able to do these convertible notes without any hesitation.
Well, I like the fact that your project is asset based. and what you've been able to do with tax depreciation and flipping it on its head is genius. So yeah, if you want to teach a class on that, we're all ears. Thanks.
The key is, you know, the big beautiful bill, which allows something on wheels, a piece of equipment, and certain other real estate plays, like you could build a $4 million factory and depreciate the whole thing right now. The economy is going to boom. And our biggest competitor is that, you know, the markets are still hot and they're probably going to stay that way. But with interest rates coming down, there's so much, Nick will tell you, there's so much money, you know, flying around right now. But we have to, you know, make sure we're worthy of their trust and that their capital is going to be protected, and then make a totally compelling offer with urgency and scarcity. And it's not easy to do.
No, it's not. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, cool. This has been awesome. I hope this was a good session for you guys. And this was inspiring for me. So I hope it was for you guys too. Chet, I'm just proud of you, man. I'm thankful. And looking forward to seeing where this goes. Obviously, just in the next, let's just call it 6 months. You know, it's going to be fun to watch. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Chet.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.